Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you clicked on the link and you joined me here today. The topic of today is one that I don't know why I'm talking about it, but we need to talk about it. The topic of today is failure. The reason I'm talking about failure is that I want to share my journey with you. I'm not perfect. I still have an extreme fear of failure, but I have learned to walk through my fear with a few techniques that I'd like to share with you. Growing up, I did not learn valuable techniques to be able to manage failure. So when I failed woefully for the first time, I did not know what to do. The first big failure that I can remember was having to change my course in university. It was something that I did not expect. I started studying mechanical engineering and I thought I'll be a mechanical engineer, but that did not work out. It wasn't something for me. And this was the first time that I had been faced with failure that led me to make a huge change in my life. It took me a very long time to come to the realization that I had to stop what I was doing and do something differently. Something that I had to learn from my experience with not being able to finish my course was the fact that I might be failing at one thing, but that doesn't mean I'm failing generally in life. It just means that I should focus and refocus and do something else. Coming to that realization took me about a year and a half. I thought if I put in more energy, if I work harder, I'll be able to make it. It took me a long time, but I finally came to the realization that I had to make a change and do something differently. That was my first experience with failure. The next big failure that I can remember was when my relationship failed. There were so many lessons that I learned from this. There were so many lessons that I learned from this failure, and one of them was you need to do things that feel right to you. With my experience with relationships, I had not had the opportunity to walk through a failed relationship and learn from it, and this one shocked me. It came from nowhere, and I had to adapt, and I had to change my life and appreciate my new life very quickly. Although we never want a relationship to fail, there's so many lessons that can be learned from a failed relationship. And now, looking back, I am actually happy that I went through that experience and that I have been able to learn through it and grow through it. The next big failure that I had to learn to walk through was failing professionally. As a program manager, you own your projects and you feel very responsible for the project's success. And I worked on a project that sadly was not successful, where the client decided that we will not continue the project. As a project manager or program manager, you ask yourself, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Like, could I have communicated better? What should I have done? And the biggest lesson that I learned from this failure was that sometimes you need to take time to look at yourself, evaluate what you could have done better to help the situation. Evaluate what you could have done differently to drive better outcomes. Being able to think about things differently came from that experience for me. So now I know that things may fail, but we always have the opportunity to learn from them. And I know that I always have the opportunity to look within myself and be better. I've had other experiences where I failed, but these three were the ones that stood out to me. What have I learned from these three experiences? From the first one, I definitely learned that sometimes it's not effort that you need to put in, you need to make a change. Sometimes you really need to do something else. And that was the first thing that I learned from not being successful in my first course. The second thing that I learned from a failed relationship is that you have to listen to yourself. You have to do what feels right for you. And there need to be some things that are non-negotiable and some things that you do not compromise on. The third thing that I learned is that there is value in making time to think about what went wrong and what you could have done better and the role that you could have played to have a better outcome. In summary, talking about my failures and thinking about my failures has taught me so many things. What valuable lessons did you learn from the areas where you failed? Please share with us, because I think there's value in looking not only at our successes but also at our failures and looking at what we could have learned from them. One thing that is really important to me is that we don't sit on failures, but that we're very hopeful for the future, and I'm looking forward to learning from other things in my future. One thing that is important to me to say in summary: don't sit on your failures. Don't regret things that you cannot change anymore. The past is the past. Move on and make the future brighter for yourself. Thank you so much for joining me on my reflective journey. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and add all your questions and comments in the comment section. Thank you. Bye.